Okay, this is 241410, the People versus Lloyd Sanders. Can I get your parents?
That's good afternoon. Jake Kazicki on behalf of Mr. Sanders.
Mr. Sanders, can you tell me your name?
Yes, ma'am. Lloyd Sanders.
Okay, Miss Havner is on her way up, so here she is. Hello, Miss Havner. Can I get your appearance?
Kelsey Governor, New York probation.
So this is, I just want to make clear for the record, Mr. Sanders was just here, was this last week?
It was on 1/9.
1/9 for a first technical violation on his probation. And he was here and he had this technical violation for failing to enroll in testing by 12/7 as directed, failing to appear for oversight appointment as directed, failed to appear for ISP status hearing as scheduled. And Mr. Kazicki, it wasn't you, it was Mr. Fanto, but at that time, Mr. Sanders had just gotten out of treatment. And the idea was we'll just pause that until when?
2/6 next week.
February 6th, to give him a chance to get acclimated and get everything going, and then we'll see how he's doing. So that was his first technical, which we haven't had a hearing on. So that will now be the second technical. And this will convert to a first unless are we doing them both today?
Yes, Judge, we can handle them both today.
Okay, but they're written separately. So you have a first technical, and the first technical is for failing to enroll in testing by 12/7, failing to appear for oversight appointment, and failing to appear in your ISP status hearing and as scheduled. Do you understand those allegations against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you go over a probation violation advice or rights form with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign and date this form, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. At the maximum possible sentence I can give you on that first violation under Michigan law is 5 days. You understand that?
Yes,
5
ma'am.
days counting. So you understand you have a right to a hearing, and at that hearing, it would have to be proven by a preponderance of the evidence. That's like 50% that the violation occurred. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand if you enter a plea of guilty, that you'll be waiving those rights to a contested hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
We're not going to have a hearing if you enter a plea. That makes sense, right?
Right.
Okay. To the allegation that you failed to enroll in testing by December 7th, how do you plead?
Not guilty. Or guilty.
Guilty?
Guilty,
Did you
yes.
enroll in testing by 12/7?
No.
Okay. That you failed to appear for your oversight appointment with Ms. Havner as scheduled, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And to the allegation you failed to appear for ISP status hearing as scheduled.
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept those pleas as knowing and voluntarily given. And I'm going to, Ms. Havner is not recommending jail on that first violation. We'll get to, or is your recommendation remain the same on that, Ms. Havner?
It does. I did tweak it today since I was able to get him on the phone with Dewin. He has an appointment with Hygera on 2/4 at 9 a.m. next week. So I just amended that, and then he has to enroll in intent testing upon release if he does get jail for the second technical.
All right, so I'm going to adopt the recommendation. He's already enrolled in testing now. I know the allegation is he's not going, but he's enrolled.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm not,
re-engaged, sorry.
so that's, doesn't need to be, ordered because you've already done it. You're to attend your substance abuse evaluation on February 4th, which is next week. You're to complete an addition, you have 2 additional days of community service in the city of Taylor within 28 days. So that's the sentence on the first technical violation.
And Judge, if I could, the reason why I still left as enrolled is because he would like to go to a new agency. ABCS, they just opened up a facility in Westland, and we completed the referral today. So
For what? For
he-
drug testing?
yes, yep, it's a facility. It was the one that's out of the 16th District Court, and they had other locations in Highland, Michigan, Detroit. They just recently opened up new locations. I believe like Pontiac, East Point, and one west is Westland. He does live in Canton, which would be more feasible for him.
That's what is, as long as he's testing and in compliance with what you've agreed with him on, I'm fine with that. All right. Now we have the second violation. I can give you 10 days on this. That's the max.
Yes, ma'am.
And the allegations here are that you failed to test as scheduled on, you are not off to a good start, sir. January 11th, 16th, 18th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, 26th, and 27th. You understand that allegation?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you failed to appear at your status hearing on January 21st. That's a violation. And that you failed to attend 2 pro-social meetings weekly since January 13th. And that you tested positive for cocaine on January 30th at the probation appointment and admitted to use. Do you understand all those allegations?
Yes, Your Honor.
And again, you understand the advice of rights form that you went over and signed and dated. If you enter a plea, you'll be waiving the hearing rights, right?
Yes,
And waiving the presumption of innocence, because you're pleading guilty, if you plead guilty. You understand all of that?
yes, Your Honor.
All right. The allegation, that you failed to test on January 11th, 16th, 18th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, and 26th, and 27th, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the allegation that you failed to appear for your status hearing on January 21st, how do you plead?
Guilty.
That you failed to attend 2 pro-social meetings a week since January 13th, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And that you tested positive for cocaine on January 30th at 25 at your probation appointment and admitted use, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Mr. Gazicki?
Your Honor, I know there's a recommendation incarceration. There's a lot of violations. I'm aware of that. Also aware that he's scheduled for inpatient next week. Mr. Sander acknowledges he's got a major problem. He's having a hard time to cope. And I don't think really the jail, I'm no expert. I don't think jail the place for him to rehabilitate himself. I'm asking the court if he can hold that jail in advance. He has support. He has his mother here. His violation was because he was with the wrong girlfriend, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he's not seeing her now. So I'm asking the court not to do the 3 days in jail. He works, he has to pay his child support, and obviously children involved in this situation if he doesn't pay his child support.
Okay.
So I'm asking for it to delay the sentencing on jail.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gazicki. Look, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Sanders, I'm limited in how much jail time I can give you. The max I can give you right now is 10 days. And I know you have an appointment to start your treatment next week. And that's the only reason you're not getting 10 is because part of being in the intensive probation program is to get you treatment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But you've done inpatient, you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing it. And like trying to blame it on a girl is like, I just heard strawberries infused with alcohol, like I hear everything. So I know this is all a girl's fault. This is all your fault. And you, listen, you had a felony reduction. Again, I don't have anything to do with plea agreements. You had a felony reduced down to a misdemeanor, right? You get this benefit. And all you have to do is comply with probation. And right now you couldn't possibly be doing any worse than you are, right? And before my hands were tied by the legislature, if you were in front of me before this change in the law, I would literally just give you 90 days right now, or however many I could give you, 6 months. And then I would just close the file out and be done. Like, that's what I would do, but I have to let you violate 2 more times before I can do that. Right? 2 more, and I can do it. And if you continue going the way you're going right now, like, this is going to be very easy for me. I won't lose a wink of sleep. I'll just put you in for your however long I can and keep society safe for as long as I can. And then you'll be done with this court. That's my plan. If you can't comply at all, that's all we're doing. We're just waiting for you to do this 2 more times so I can throw you in Wayne County. Okay? I don't know what you're thinking. Like, you just don't show up. like any other person before the legislature in their infinite wisdom changed the law and tied judges' hands with what we're allowed to do when we have much more exposure to the people in front of us. You'd have gotten it, and almost any judge would have given it to you for this violation alone. So Ms. Havner's recommendation is that you do 3 days jail. You're going right now. And that you get a peer recovery coach through GrowthWorks, and you're going to start attending that as well. And you're also going to continue with all the other conditions. And when I say continue with the conditions, I mean actually do the things, right? And just know when you get out, I think you should be in jail right now. So you can prove me wrong, or you can prove me right. These are your choices. But this, what you're doing right here, this is not acceptable. We're gonna give you a chance to show up to your treatment, to take this seriously. But if you don't, then you could just go do your time in county, and none of us have to go through this anymore, because you are off to a terrible start, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Judge, if I could just have him initial and sign the peer recovery form so I can get it sent over before he's
Sure. We have an excellent peer recovery coach that you could work with. If you want help, if you want to be better,
Yes, I do.
and Mom, don't fall for his nonsense. Don't fall for what he's selling,
What's that?
because he's full of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And the only way treatment's going to work for him is if he's not being enabled by people who love him.
All the next doors is going downtown.
He's going downtown.
Right.
Unless they decide to hold him next door, the paperwork will be for county.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.